Good afternoon. Welcome and happy Valentine's Day. Let me know if you are here and hop on and say hi. Let me see if I've got, yep, now it says I'm live. I never know how long that delay is and when I should really start talking. So, let's see if anybody shows up. Otherwise, I will get started. But if you are watching this on the replay, that will go up on YouTube a little bit later. Please be sure to leave a comment. Let me know where you're from. And if you like what you see, please subscribe to my channel. And let's get started. So, don't see anybody here yet. So I'm going to, let's see, we got a minute here. So I'll just chat. Hope you are having a great day. If you don't celebrate Valentine's Day, maybe you celebrated Galentine's Day, just with gal friends, just to have fun with friends and get together like that. It doesn't necessarily have to be with hearts and hugs and kisses, but that's always good. Hey, LJ, checking in from California. Yay, thank you. So yes, Valentine's Day, we've now lived through Super Bowl. So whoever you were rooting for, I hope they won. My team didn't, but that's okay. I was only really watching it for the commercials, and I wasn't really thrilled with those this year either. So they're so technological, and there were no Clydesdale horses this year. Hi, Sue, welcome. And let's see, we're still in the midst of the Olympics, although I've kind of tuned those out a little bit too. So saw the guy win the gold for the ice skating, and that's really what I wanted to watch. So let's start. We're a couple minutes in, and welcome Gloria, Sue, and LJ. And let me flip down to my desktop. All right. Just as a reminder, we have 2 more weeks of celebration, and that will end on the last Monday that I'll be live in February. So I'm not even going to open it. I've shown it a few times. So there's some amazing opportunities and options in there. So I'll put that away. Oops. But we are in the midst of the mini catalog. Welcome, Gloria. Which will go through June. So we've got a long time to go with this. In the meantime, a new catalog will come out in May, for heaven's sakes. And we have 2 new promotions going that I actually worked on a little bit this morning. And if it's not running too late, I'll show you a couple samples that I did from that. But these are unpublished promotions. One of them is a sneak peek, or an early release, I guess, is a better way to talk about it, that will be in the new catalog. So part of the products will carry to the new catalog and part of it will not. So I'll show you those at the end. So let's get going. Mini catalog. Excuse me, I should have brought some beverage down here, but I didn't. I'm going to feature today this amazing New Horizons suite of products. I think I've got everything but the ribbon and these little gems or little pebbles. I thought I had them, but I couldn't find them. But anyway, you could get by with this with just the paper and any stamp sets and an ink pad that you might have. It is just, what do I want to say? It's breathtaking paper. And if you saw my little blurb on the Facebook page before a couple hours ago, I guess, I posted a little video on how this paper is made. And the concept artists they watercolor and just make things look amazing. Then they take pictures of it and it turns into paper. And I have heard from a good source, I guess, that the next paper pumpkin is going to feature paper like this. I can't say that it's exactly the same paper, but it's going to complement this New Horizons suite of products. And there will be an extra stamp set in there, and it will be the anniversary, and I believe that's the reason for that that extra stamp set. And I heard it's like a really, really, really good value. So if you just look at the samples in here, hey, let's see, what do you have to say, Nancy? Oh, listening in the car. Okay, listening. Okay, you'll have to visualize, Nancy. But I'm so glad you're out for a ride with Jack and having a good time. So if you just look at the samples here, you can get some great ideas. And again, here's the bundle. It's 10% off with the bundle. But I'm going to feature the paper today. So there are a couple other stamp sets that are also very complimentary to this paper. And one of them is the Oceanfront stamp set on page 39. Because as I show it to you, you'll see that so much of it looks like it could be water or mountains or whatever. It might even go with the Seize the Day. I don't know. I don't have that set. Let's see. Then I've got another little sticky note here that it goes well with the Grove dies and the Grassy Grove bundle. So this is kind of on my wish list. I don't have this, but it looks amazing. So there are a lot of things that will go with it. If you're hanging on to the old Lovely as a Tree, I'm sure you can stamp some of those trees in there. So let's get started. And first of all, I'm going to show you some samples that I made. Hey, Gloria. Let's see. Did I say Gloria? Yes, Gloria. Yay. Thanks, everybody. These are some samples that I made. This one is just some 3 by, what were these, 3/4 inch strips of the paper, kind of staggered on a piece of basic white. And I also put some, what do I want to say, score lines in here from the trimmer, although I think I used the Simply Scored tool to put some score lines in there to add some extra dimension or interest. And then every once in a while, when I've got extra paper, I'll cut out little bits of die cuts. So I've got some of these from the Harvest set. Excuse me. Oh, I don't know where that sneeze came from. 2 sneezes. So I just put that on there. It's just in white, no color, and just add some dimension to that. So there's one. Here's another one showing some of the dies that are in this set. I know I'm going to have another sneeze, so pardon me if I have to sneeze again. That I did copy this from all right. I always sneeze at least 3 times anyway. Where she had just taken some of the dies, cut it out with some paper scraps, and put that on there. Then the birds are stamped on there. So just a very simple but striking card. Here's another one that I did last weekend, and thank you, Sue. And just stamped the birds on there, and then I'll show you some of the die cuts. And as I looked at this later, I thought, oh wait, there's some grassy stuff behind there too. So I looked at this later, I thought, that's not a path, or you're wading through water. So some of this paper can go upside down, and now we see clouds. And the fence would probably work, but now the birds are at the bottom of the page, so that wouldn't work. So the paper is just so dimensional that you can do so much with it. So that one's kind of a funny one. Here's another one where I took some 3 by 3. The paper is 6 by 6, so it's very easy to get 4 cards out of one piece of paper. So here's one where I stamped the trees. They're little trees in the die set. thank you from another set and some gems, and of course the birds. So it's very simple. Here is another one where I've embossed, and then I stamped, but I decided to stamp after I embossed. So then I embossed it in gold and it showed up again. So that was kind of a crazy one. But again, that same look with the birds and the trees. You do have to watch that the birds are going in the right direction. And then here's one with some trees from, what stamp set is that? Beauty of Friendship. This is from Beauty of Friendship. And the birds, and just thanks for everything. So a very simple, this is 4 1/4 by 11, folded at the top, scored at 5 1/2, and made into a thank you card. So you could make some very easy cards with this. So those are the samples, and let's see what we're going to make today. Let me show you the paper. There are, let's see, as I looked this up, 12 designs, 48 sheets, 4 each of 12 double-sided designs. And I've used quite a bit of this already. And this is the way I keep my 6x6 paper. I just haven't found, I have a little bin to put it in, but I keep them all together. And then I've got some of these envelopes that we sell, and I put little scraps in there so nothing goes to waste. And then I just put a binder clip on it so it all stays together. So this is some of the paper. Just glance at the colors. We've got some Evening Evergreen in here, some Night of Navy, Blackberry Bliss, Old Olive, Evening Evergreen, did I say that already? Fresh Freesia. I could just spend the whole time looking at all the papers and the way you can look at them. Let's see, that one I guess I have not used yet. So here's the one that I flipped upside down. So, and it could go that way, but obviously the fence doesn't work there. So this could be water, and then you've got your sunrise up here or your sunset. But if you flip it this way, you've got a sky and more that you can do down here. And since it's 6x6, you can cut a part of it off so that you get more on your page if you're going to put it on a full sheet, like 4 by 5 1/4. So there's that one. Here's another one that is just looks like watercolor. It's like you think, why couldn't I do that? But I know I couldn't. Here's another one. So it just leaves it up to your imagination. Hey Elaine, oh, don't you love this DSP? It's awesome. This one could be a starry night. I think there's a sample in the catalog that shows this with the some other dyes. Oh, I just love it. Love it, love it, love it. Makes you want to go out and lay in the snow and watch the sky, I guess. I don't know. We've sure got a lot of snow here. So here's some more. Here's one with a beautiful sunset, sunrise. So just let your mind wander and have fun with it. So I do have some ideas for you today. Some are my own and some are inspiration. I like to call it inspiration from other people, not that I copy, but just inspiration from others. Okay, let's start with this one first. Got a piece of Blackberry Bliss, and then I've already done a little bit of the cutting on this, but I'll tell you what I did. Where I've cut the paper into 3 strips. This one is inspired by one of the samples in the mini catalog. And I cut this at, first of all, 1 1/4 inches. And this one is, no, this is 1 1/4. I thought they didn't match up. This is 1 1/4. This is 1. And then this is 2 3/4. So just separating the paper like that gives the card a whole new look. And then when I cut it at 4 by 5 because I knew that I was going to separate those out. And it worked out well. And that is it. But just the separation of that makes it all just totally different. And then I've got some die cuts here. I'll show you the dies in a minute. And I'm going to put some grass down here. And put some birds up there. And that's really all it needs. This could be a little marshy area. I don't know if this one looks so good going in the other direction or not. Let me know what you think. I don't know. That could be sky too, but I think it's actually better this way too. So I'm going to put these together so that the birds don't, let's see, let's put these back together and I'll put the birds on there. And it works well with just your Memento basic black or tuxedo black ink. So here we've got the birds, and you do need to look to make sure the birds are going in the right direction. Hi, Carol, welcome. And so they go this way. And I think they're supposed to be geese. I'm not sure. Geese or swallows or whatever. So I'm going to put some here that will overlap those two panels. And some others that are traveling behind and go over here. All right. Get that out of my way so I don't put my elbow in it. And then let's take some liquid glue. It is, Elaine, it's just, I don't know how they keep coming up with these ideas. They're just amazing. And when I show you at the end, the waves, dies, and paper that we're coming out with as a new promotion that will be available in March to customers. I understand they dropped paint, probably either on a canvas or just, wouldn't you just love to throw paint around and come up with designs? I guess that's why they call them artists. That's right, LJ, your imagination, you only go by what your imagination tells you it will be. Let's see, we need some more glue under there. Well, I'll get that in a minute. And then this one here. So anybody getting cards made with this is just going to take a deep breath and say, oh my gosh, isn't this gorgeous? All right, I think we need a little bit more under there. And then I'm going to add this, let's see, where do I want this grass to grow? I guess it's going to go over here because it'll go right to the end of that one panel. So I'll just add little dots of glue. Gloria, I understand that I think people have made the tulips out of this. Have you made any tulips with it? I can't glue and talk at the same time here, so forgive me. There we go. And get glue on my fingers too. There we go. And I don't believe it even needs a sentiment on the outside, whatever you might want to write on the inside. I don't think I got a piece of paper to go on the inside for that yet, but there we go. It just looks like a canvas suitable for paint, suitable for framing. It's stunning. So there's that one. And let's see what we've got here with this one. You can take the paper, cut it into fourths, three pieces each, 3 inches each, I mean, and make 4 cards. I think I said that at the beginning, and that's what this one is. So I'm taking a card base of 4 1/4 by 11. The reason I like that top fold size is because when somebody gets it, it stands up straight and looks so pretty. So I like that size. And then I had this paper hanging around, and I've embossed this with the Timeless Type embossing folder, just plain white. And this is, I didn't even measure it because it was laying around, 4 by 4 1/4. I must have needed it for something. So I'm just going to add that there to add more dimension, but I am going to add a sentiment at the bottom, I think. And it just kind of helps to frame out the card. So let's put that up there. And then I have a small piece of this, 3 by 3, and the black is 3 1/8 by 3 1/8. Even the other side, you almost hate to use the paper because, goodness sakes, both sides are gorgeous. But you can always get more. Order 2 packs, one for one side and one for the other. Oh my goodness. I'm trying to give up my hoarding of paper by cutting it up, chopping it, chop, chop. And I'm going to put dimensionals on this, and I was looking for, let's see, let's get the stamp set out here. This is the stamp set. So the little trees here, some grass down here at the bottom, and some wonderful sentiments. Wishing you so much happiness. Relax and enjoy your day. Breathe. We all need to do that a lot nowadays. The little tree stand, and the sentiments, or excuse me, the dies have some different trees. The dies have this. The dies have these little houses, little shanties, and then the little fences that can lead you on into the horizon. So let's see, I believe I'm going to stamp the grass at the bottom here. kind of a little grassy grove. Again, just use the black. Okay, that little envelope is quite a glare there. Sorry about that. Okay, so I'm going to just stamp that off a little bit. There, that adds a little bit. I think we need a little bit more there. Well, I'm not sure that that really did a lot for the card, but I think it looks okay. And then on this one, I decided to dig out these cute little doilies. Because I don't know if they're going to last much longer. Something that's been around for a while, but these are called the square vellum doilies. And I'm just going to add a little bit of that to peek out from behind. And because I don't want to waste it all, I might just use a little piece of it. So let's grab some scissors here. I'll just use half of it, and I can use the other half someplace else. And that's how you make your supplies last a little bit, because they can just stick out there like that. Let's add some glue to the edge of this, but then I want to use dimensionals to add it to the card. Another thing that's good about this paper is so much of it can be used to make masculine cards, which we many times have a lot of trouble coming up with what to send a guy card. Or sympathy cards. This is great for sympathy cards as well. Okay, let's add some dimensionals to the back of this. And that will add a pop of excitement to the card. And I'm really not happy about what I stamped there. So I've got one of these left, and I'm going to put that on there, because that just looks like I took a pen and scribbled it. That was not a very good move. So where there's a will, there's a way, because I certainly don't want to waste the paper. Put a little bit of dots on here. And I'm going to just add a little bit of dimension too. I'm going to go off of the edge. So that shows that. And maybe some birds, again, will take away from that scribbly stuff that shows down there. So the birds will look good. Should have added those before I added the dimensionals. So let's hope I don't mess this up. Perfect. And let's see, what sentiment do I have here? I'm going to add thanks for everything. Oh no, I'm going to change that out. Let's do thinking of you. Okay. Perfect. So there's that one. And of course, some gems would be good too. But if you don't know who's going to get the card, if it's a masculine card, gems are not always really appropriate. Probably wouldn't be with that vellum laces there either. But maybe on this next one. I've got one more to go. And this is using a 4 by 5 1/4. I think I only cut it down for, yeah, this is like 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And this is going on Old Olive. And this one you can't really turn upside down because we've got the little flowers down here. And if you've watched that video that I posted, I believe it shows them making those little flowers. So this is just gorgeous. So let's add that. Thank you, Nancy. And I love the other side too. Isn't it gorgeous? Oh, goodness sakes. Let's get it going the right direction. I almost put it on upside down. Which I've been known to do. And then you just have an opportunity to cut your card apart and put it on something else so it doesn't go to waste. So there we've got that. You could just leave that like that. Add some ribbon if you like. Again, I don't know if this is going to go to who this might go to, but I think it needs some fence. So it looks like you're going back into, you're following a path and going back. It gives it more, it gives it some dimension. And then there is a stamp in here that is like, I don't know, I guess it could be a signpost, or it could also be a walkway. And there's a die that goes with this too. I've seen this a couple different ways. But I think what I'm going to do is, let's see, what color do I have sitting out here? I've got a lot of ink pads here. I've got gray granite. So let's add some dimension to this fence and use that. Yeah, I love the fence die, Lane. It's great. And just use that stamp to add some dimension to the fence die. Just adds a little bit. Every little bit helps. Okay. I know, I love that it's curved too, and it just, you don't have to fiddle around with it, and it just gives that dimension back into following a path, and that there are the little flowers behind there too. So we just need little dots of glue. And if you have a smaller piece, you can also cut parts of this off if you don't want it as long or as big as it is. Okay, let's get the glue to cooperate here. And I'm just adding glue to like every other little fence post. So I've got something to grab onto. So the cards are simple. You can do just about anything to enhance the paper, or let the paper stand alone and do its thing. Okay, so there we go on that one. And I think I will not put birds on this. Yeah, that fence, Sue, really adds a lot to that. I wonder, I'm not going to do it, but I wonder if you even added a couple layers of the fencing. It would even give it some more dimension too. So that's a thought as well. Just playing, I don't like those trees there or the little houses. So I'm just going to let that one alone. I'm going to leave it alone and not do anything else with it. I don't even need to put a sentiment on it. Sometimes I leave the sentiment off until I decide who might be getting the card. So those are all of the samples for today. This one, do you have a favorite? This one, again, there's no sentiment on the front, but I think Breathe would be really good on that one. So those are the three that I made today. This was a sample that I showed earlier. Played around with this one this morning. I wasn't happy with the way the trees turned out. I think I needed to re-ink that ink pad, which I did. Okay, here's the other one, and there I did stamp the trees on the tree stand there. The same thing here. It's pretty much the same with a different orientation. Here's the one that you got to wade through the swamp because I put it on upside down, but there's the fences on that. See, it should have gone that way. I don't know, maybe no, the only problem with that, the fence could go there, but the birds are in the wrong place. Oh, I just have to laugh at that one. And this was the one that I kind of copied from somebody. And this was one that I had done a similar card a few weeks ago. And I looked at that this morning because I had it sitting on my table. And I thought, perfect for just taking some strips and one of my little bits that I have left over and adding some gems, and it's good to go. So that's all of the paper. But if you want to hang around one more minute, I want to show you what I was working on earlier. Let me grab that one. Okay, this Waves of Inspiration is a sneak peek early release. Early release is that it will be available in March for customers. There you can't really see it too well with the glare. With this beautiful wave, there are wave dies, and the paper, oh my gosh, it is just absolutely gorgeous. It's simple, but very, very elegant. And one of the samples that Stampin' Up! Showed us is this one. And I was so taken with it because I have not done a sunburst card. I was almost going to do this one today, and I thought, no, I will wait. And maybe if you want to make it with me one day, I'll tell you how to do it. And this is the card. So they gave us, let me get this under the, let's go the right direction, Pat. They gave us the basic layout, and then when it came to the sunburst part, it said, pretty much they said, figure it out on your own. So I had not made one in quite a long time, and it's really not that difficult, just a little time consuming, because there's dimensionals behind all of these pieces. And then this is one of the papers. We have some silver foil for these little swallows, and then some clouds and some sentiments. And then I just put a piece of paper through this tag die because I didn't want to put ribbon through there. And it just says, "You're so totally awesome." Isn't that gorgeous? And then there are gems that go with it. Now, this is one where the stamp set and dies will be in the next catalog, but the gems, the paper, and the gems and the paper will not be in the next catalog. I think that's correct. And then this was another one. Oh yeah, here are the gems. Rhinestone Waves Basic Jewels. Awesome. And then I did this one, kind of following their directions that we had, and made it into a happy birthday. And I took one of the waves dies and just put that on the Granny Apple Green for some dimension. This has some blending. There's a bird stamp, the gems, and then the pelican on the pilings here, clouds, of course. And then I did wrap some linen thread around that. So there's another simple one. And then I was playing yesterday. So you're going to be seeing more of this in the coming days. I was playing yesterday. So these are just ideas. And I stamped and then put Versamark on it. So I did stamp with, I think, Night of Navy or one of the blues. And then I stamped also with Versamark and put some copper and gold embossing powder on there. And then use the basic borders dies to add some clouds. So I wasn't real happy with the way that came out, so I didn't really finish it. Here's another one that has been embossed with some clouds, and I kind of messed the clouds up there. So it's just gorgeous. But this was my first little prototype on how to do the sunburst. And you just take rectangles of paper and then cut them on the diagonal to get your triangles. And then, of course, you've got your center point, which doesn't have to be in the center. It could be anywhere else. And then you obviously are going to cover that up with something. So this I probably will finish up with something. So you will get to see it at some point, perhaps. So come back soon. Next week will be on the 21st of February. Do you believe it? It's almost going to be gone and we'll be into March. So thank you so much for stopping by today. I appreciate it. And I will see you again next week. Have a great rest of the week and a good evening. Bye-bye.